Everywhere in the world we can observe and be touched by acts of kindness. People from all walks of life, faiths and cultures extend themselves beyond the call of duty to help others unconditionally. Through their noble deeds, humanity as a whole is elevated. To commend virtuous actions and encourage more people to be inspired by their examples, Supreme Master Cheng Hai has lovingly created a series of awards, including the Shining World Leadership Award, Shining World Compassion Award, Shining World Hero and Heroine Awards, Shining World Honesty Award, Shining World Protection Award, Shining World Intelligence Award, and Shining World Inventor Award, to recognize some of the most exemplary, generous, caring, and courageous people who walk amongst us.
At just 12 years of age, Zach McGuire has mastered lessons in life that some people may strive their whole lives to learn. These are the important lessons of love, sharing, and humility. Residing in Toledo, Ohio, young Zach is a picture of the ordinary all-American boy, but he possesses an extraordinary heart of generosity and kindness. In 2005, following the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, which ravaged New Orleans, Louisiana, the principal at Zach's elementary school encouraged each student to do something to earn money to contribute to the disaster relief work. Zach, who was only 6 years old at the time, decided to set up a Kool-Aid drink stand where people could make contributions from their hearts.
In Katrina, we had to replace one of the pitchers once, and then we raised $200. Then my mother's work doubled it, so I think it ended up to be like $400.
About 400, and I think 480.
For his benevolent efforts to help the victims of Hurricane Katrina, Zach was named as Citizen of the Month by the Mayor of Toledo. 2 years later, when disaster struck Findlay, Ohio, Zach set up his drink stand once again with the sign, Kool-Aid for Flood Aid, to help those affected by the flood.
Then we did Kool-Aid for Flood Aid.
They had massive flooding down there from just torrential rains for days.
After wildfires raged in California, Zach recognized that human lives and homes were lost forever. From across the country, he wished to help with the recovery efforts. Zach came up with the idea to sell hot cocoa, calling it Cocoa for California. This time, his fundraising efforts reached well over $1,000 US.
We had donations from all over the country. I got a proclamation from the mayor, and he gave me a $50 donation.
Recently, however, Zach's own family has been affected by the economic downturn. Zach's father, Thomas McGuire, is a licensed contractor who has been unemployed for a time.
Zach is a pretty intuitive child, and he could tell that Dad had been upset for a while, and I explained an appropriate amount of it to Zach so he could understand that things were a little tough, and he internalized that for a while and then came back to me and said, "Dad, I want to help. I've been blessed with all these toys, and I would like to sell them and help out with, you know, the bills around the house."
You can't sleep in toys, you can't eat toys, so just struck me then.
With wisdom and maturity beyond his years, Zach selflessly sold off his favorite toys to help keep his family home.
I was on CNN for helping my dad by selling my toys.
He sold, we're guessing, about $2,000 worth of his toys. He had several motorized vehicles, and they sold, and Tonka trucks and fire trucks. And
Little Thomas the Tank Train set.
it came to pass that he was selling toys, but he wanted to help out with home and family. And he's always been a giving person at home and in the community.
Zach's spirit of helpfulness and care for others can be largely attributed to his loving parents.
Zach's always been taught that his fellow man is as equally important as he is, if not more important. And sometimes we need to take a step back and look at everything we have, despite whatever problems we might have, and see how we can bring the gift of the Holy Spirit to other people by giving through ourselves. And after doing that, then we find our problems aren't as great as we thought they were.
Touched by Zach's altruistic acts and loving kindness to strangers in need and his own family, Zach was presented with a letter of salute and a gift of $3,000 from Supreme Master Ching Hai.
With your exemplary example of goodness, the world is just that little bit better. We thank you so much for your motivating example of love in action, which will surely cause many others to follow. To young Zach McGuire, we wholeheartedly applaud and salute you. With great honor, love, and blessings, Supreme Master Ching Hai. It is for you.
Thank you.
I want to thank God for having a wonderful son like you. I wouldn't trade you for anything. God has blessed me more than I'll ever be able to express. And someday when you're a dad, I hope you can know my joy.
In addition, Zach was presented with Supreme Master Ching Hai's international #1 best-selling books, The Dogs in My Life, The Birds in My Life, and The Noble Wilds, along with various DVDs and CDs.
I'd like to say thank you to the Supreme Master Ching Hai for this wonderful gift, and I hope this check helps us out in whatever we need.
Zach's father also expressed his gratitude for Supreme Master Ching Hai's support, saying that it was all a blessing from God. Zach's goodwill and spirit of sacrifice is truly a noble example for children and adults everywhere. When we return, we'll meet Mr. Epati Tamati, a popular Samoan radio host and TV presenter who was honored with the Shining World Hero Award. Please keep your dial tuned here to Supreme Master Television.
For the people of Samoa, and whatever happened, I do my job. I love my people of Samoa. I need to serve the people of Samoa. Whatever happened, God will know.
Welcome back to our show featuring honorees of the Shining World Hero Award and Salute. Deep underwater, the sea floor began to rumble and shake. As dishes clattered and fell, people were awoken from their deep slumber at 6:48 a.m. in the Samoan Islands region on September 29, 2009.
Tuesday morning, the 29th of September 2009. That is the time when the earthquake happened.
The massive temblor struck underwater between the islands of Samoa and American Samoa. On the island nation of Samoa, known as the Heart of Polynesia, popular radio host and TV presenter Epati Tamati witnessed the earthquake and its devastation firsthand.
I stayed inside the studio for 1 minute, and when I saw the shaking of the house, and then I ran outside, and I saw the shaking of the earth, the poles, the house.
After the shaking subsided, Mr. Tamati returned inside the Radio 2AP studio, which was located on the coast of Apia, the country's capital. He feared the worst.
An earthquake was stronger, 7.5, and then it was a tsunami that happened. And I thought that it was very strong.
The quake, which registered at a magnitude of 8.0, was recorded as the largest earthquake of 2009. It triggered a wall of waves several meters high.
I tried to contact the observatory, but it was unsuccessful. And then I make my own decision to warn the people to go to higher ground and be safe. I inform my listeners, and if you are living on low-lying areas, you might go to higher ground, leave all your assets, your belongings, and your life is your first priority.
Risking his own life, Mr. Tamati remained in the radio studio to broadcast the tsunami warnings in the hopes of saving the precious lives of other Samoans. But back home, still hearing his voice on the airwaves, Mr. Tamati's wife, Situela, knew her husband's life was in jeopardy.
I was very worried because the officers always discounted at the lower higher in Texas, like saying Texas to come home. Please come home, because we were very worried.
However, Mr. Tamati was selflessly determined to answer the call of duty to country and fellow citizens.
We just said that just take the kids to higher grounds and be safe. Then I left and I listened to him, and I knew it's a really great job to do for our country.
Radio 2AP, the only AM station on the island and the only radio station that owned by the government, just in case for emergency and natural disaster. So that is the main reason why I choose to stay inside the studio, to risk my life for my listeners and risk my life for the people of Samoa.
For the hundreds of people who heard Mr. Tamati's broadcasts, they were able to escape to safety in time as the ensuing tsunami swept away many homes and cars in its wake. Nearly 200 lives were lost on Tonga, American Samoa, and especially Samoa as a result of the disaster. One of Mr. Tamati's grateful listeners is his own Radio 2AP colleague, Mr. Vasilega Lupati Lagaya.
That morning, I was a little bit shaky by the earthquake. I turn on my radio and I hear Epati on radio, and I know exactly where the studio is. It's right out next to the sea, and I'm very thankful for Epati. He was here, making sure that people are getting information of the tsunami, and also warn the people to get to the higher grounds. And I'm very glad that he did that for us and for the Samoan.
For many more hours, Mr. Tamati continued on with his noble work as he opened the phone lines for callers to relay information and report on the damages of the earthquake.
After the tsunami, people calling about the help, like clothes, water, food, shelter, and everything. People from overseas and other part of the island, they are requesting about their relatives. They live in the affected areas.
Upon hearing of this tragedy in the Samoan Islands region, Supreme Master Ching Hai immediately conveyed her heavy heart and tears while donating $30,000 to assist the most afflicted. This amount could acquire $247,000 in supplies if bought in the United States, based on the region's cost of living. Our association's relief team from Australia traveled to the Samoan island of Upolu to deliver aid to the tsunami victims. When Supreme Master Ching Hai learned of Mr. Tamati's exceptional bravery, she honored him with the Crystal Shining World Hero Award and a framed letter of recognition.
Thank you, Supreme Master Ching Hai, for a lovely letter and for everything. When my family called and said to leave the studio and go to higher ground, and I said, God protect me. And I love my job, and this is the most important day of my life and my career.
Mr. Tamati was also presented with Supreme Master Ching Hai's international #1 best-selling books, The Dogs in My Life, The Birds in My Life, and The Noble Wilds, in addition to various CD and DVD publications.
To Supreme Master Ching Hai for these awards, it's an honor and a privilege for me to accept these awards, and I really appreciate it. May God bless you, your works that you do, and thank you for the awards.
Firstly, I wish to thank you for this great opportunity for my families, especially my husband, to have this golden award. I think it's a very hard job for me, especially always away from my family many times. I'm very sorry for what you have done for my husband. Only prayers to God to bless, to give you more blessings for what you're working on and do for the whole country.
And do you think your daddy is a hero?
He really is.
Mr. Tamati is indeed a hero in the truest sense of the word for his life-saving act and selfless service to his fellow humans. We sincerely salute both Zach and Mr. Tamati for their altruistic example of humans' noble nature. May you, your family, and co-citizens be graced with continued protection and love from heaven. Thank you for your company today. Coming up next is Words of Wisdom, right after noteworthy news here on Supreme Master Television. Blessed be your dignified deeds and compassionate hearts.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/EE.